Welcome back, everybody. This is JB here, standing at level 51 called Mnemonic Ice, and after we beat this level, we've got only 8 more left in the set. That's right, only 8 more, not 9 more, because we've already solved Mine Cluster, so hooray for that. Now, just FYI, I've already beaten this level, because I've tried to record what comes after it, which is an extremely difficult level that I've had lots of problems with over the last few days. So I'm trying to make sure that I get everything here correctly. Alright, that was risky, but hey, there we go. I'm trying to get this teeth monster killed right away. So I'm just going to lead him here to do that. I don't really know if Rock intended for this to be the case, but it really does help out a lot to make the level go faster. I'm going to go ahead and get the key here, and the first thing I'm going to do before going into all those doors is get all the keys. You might be able to tell this level is somewhat symmetrical, at least for the most part. The middle room is kind of a little bit non-symmetrical, but for the most part this level is symmetrical. And it's a really cool concept. The mnemonic or memory assisting device that the title refers to are the keys and the doors. The red and yellow keys and doors go together, and the blue and green keys and doors go together. And each of those sets of colors have a room layout that matches them. So, for instance, the yellow and blue rooms kind of have a linear ice path maze kind of thing. And you can kind of see that right here. I'll go into one right now because I got the green key. So yeah, you have to take a path like this and get a chip. And the other rooms, the red and yellow rooms, have a double maze kind of maze in them. So that's pretty cool. I really like how the colors match and it helps you know your way around. Kind of reminds me of like those levels in, say, what am I thinking of here? Kind of like in Mario Kart and some of the battle mode tracks like Block Ford or whatever it's called in Mario Kart 64, where you have the different colors and you can tell where your opponents are. Kind of like that. I'm sure there are other games that use that same kind of device, but I really like Mario Kart a lot, and that's what I thought of when I first saw this level, was Block Fort. So I don't know if Rock intended for something like that to be what the level revolves around, but it kind of seemed like it. Now, one interesting thing about this level is that it was originally unsolvable because an ice corner in the upper right room, the room to which we haven't gone yet, was missing. And I'll show you where that was. It was in the mirrored version down in the lower left, but not over here for some strange reason. Like I said, this looks like double maze. So yeah, the ice corner right to my left was a normal ice space. Not sure why that was the case, but it made the level unsolvable, and thankfully it's not unsolvable anymore. And we beat my time from my last attempt. So anyhow, Mnemonic Ice done, and now we can move on to the main attraction, Sokobug. And yes, this level is really, really long and difficult. It's difficult mainly just because it's so easy to make a mistake, and that has mainly to do with the bugs that are roaming around this level. And also, it's very long and tedious, and there's some parts to, which I honestly consider to be needlessly complicated, to put it lightly. Like, for instance, you have to push each and every block that you push into this room right here, where I'm in right now. You have to push each of the blocks through this whole area right here, dodge the bug, and I'm going to send it into a loop, which really helps it a lot, especially when you go through here. Then you have to loop around here, go over here, push it over here, push it up here again, and back over here. And then you go into this room with the ball, and watch this right here. Then, once you get into the ballroom, then you have to loop around like 2 times each time you bring a block in here, because first you have to push it up, and then you have to dodge the ball. And thankfully this gets easier because you have more leeway the more water spaces you fill. But you can see what I mean here. This is just really tedious, and you have to do this several times. I think for this room you have to do it 6 times. So yeah, it's just one of those levels that to me is just not very fun. It's an interesting concept, I'll grant you that, but I mean, it's just not one of those levels that's very playable. It kind of reminds me of Pain, except there's a lot more pain, or potential pain, should I say, because these bugs are just really, really kind of scary in a way, just because, especially after you've been playing for 15 minutes, there could be a bug just right around the corner that you might just happen to run into. In fact, I just finished, before I started this recording session, I actually just finished recording an attempt at this level in which I ran into bugs about 4 consecutive times in a row. Thankfully, I didn't get very far in the level before those deaths occurred, but it was just incredibly bad. And honestly, this is just one of those levels. I can understand endurance tests in a set, and Rock said that that's what this level is. But to me, this is not just an endurance test, it just has to be yet another dodging test. And frankly, I wish there was more in this set besides just dodging. I mean, thankfully there has been a little bit of variety, like an overlap and some of the other levels. But I think it's a little bit heavy on the dodging stuff. There's some really good dodging levels here, but some of them are a little bit needlessly complicated, like I mentioned for this one. And frankly, there are some that, to be quite forthright, kind of had just put obstacles in there almost in such a way that suggests that they're just there just to be there. I don't know exactly how to describe that, but it's kind of like, you just stick stuff in a level and just expect people just to say, oh yeah, here's an obstacle you passed, and that's just the only reason it's there. It's nothing that, you feel like you're learning about or improving your skill with. It's just another thing to get past. And that's kind of what this level feels like. Now, one thing I will say is that when I first started playing this level, it kind of reminded me of a certain other level from another set. If you're familiar with Tyre Thali Ansrath's levels, he made a level called Warehouse 70, which was the 70th level in his set, and it was sort of a response to Eric Schmidt's Warehouse 134 from his level set. Tyre Thali also made Warehouse 23, which became Warehouse 1, and Eric's Warehouse 134 became Warehouse 2 in CCLP 2. I don't know, well, wait a minute, I don't know which one came first, Warehouse, and I think Tyre Thali's came first, now that I think about it. So yeah, Tyre Thali's came first, Eric's was the response. But Warehouse 70 was just a Sokobug puzzle that was pretty small. Well, maybe not small per se, but it was pretty contained, unlike this one. And it had like a bug or two that were running around the entire area, and it was extremely claustrophobic, and yeah, it was a pretty nightmarish level if you weren't a very seasoned dodger or block pusher. So yeah, really tough stuff. It didn't make it into CCLP 2 or CCLP 3, which was probably a good thing. No offense, Tyre Thali, but I think it would probably have infuriated a lot of people. Then again, maybe I'm just overreacting. It may not have been that bad now that I think about it. Anyhow, we're going to be pushing blocks for a very long time here, so I figured it was time to talk about some other things. So I figured we'd talk about movies, because I've seen some movies recently, and I wanted to talk to you all about what I thought of them. I figured maybe I could just start off with a bad one first, and that would be Cars 2. Now, I just went and saw it in the theaters on Friday when it came out. I think it was Friday when it came out, and I gotta say, I was really disappointed. And this pains me to say this because I'm a big Pixar animation fan, but for those of you who aren't familiar with the original Cars, it's basically a movie with talking cars in a world that's filled with only vehicles, and the main story centers around a racing car who's just all, just full of himself, and then he discovers this little town and gets stuck there when he's on his way to a big race, and he gets stranded, and then he meets people, and they teach him some important lessons and stuff. And I mean, it's a good, decent movie. I mean, it wasn't like my favorite or anything, but I mean, it was decent. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, but it just wasn't as good as some of Pixar's other movies, like, The Incredibles or Toy Story or Finding Nemo and stuff. But Cars 2, the main problem I had with it was that they made the comic relief character of the original movie, this tow truck named Mater, voiced by none other than Larry the Cable Guy. They made him the main character. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for comic relief, but when you make a character that kind of has a rather one-dimensional shtick the center of your movie, it can be a rather bad thing. And in this case, it just kind of got a little old after a while. I mean, there's a lot of jokes about Mater not really getting accustomed to other cultures around the world, and at first it was kind of funny, but I mean, let's face it, I mean, how many times have we seen movies with the whole, oh yeah, it's the dumb American who doesn't know what to do in a foreign country type of thing, you know? I mean, it just gets so old after a while. I mean, but, I mean, other than that, I mean, the movie was also weak in some other areas. I mean, the story was just not all that interesting. It basically revolved around a big race around the world in this James Bond-like spy plot that involved some really greedy oil tycoon. And then there were a lot of people who took that the wrong way and were thinking that the film was attacking oil and stuff. I really don't know what to make of it, just because it seemed rather ambiguous to me. And I don't know, it's a movie about cars, so it just seemed kind of obvious that if you were going to go for a spy plot, which seemed to be the basis of everything they were doing, then you would make it about oil. I mean, duh. So, I don't know. But anyhow, my other main problem with the movie was that they were basically, as I mentioned earlier, using Mater as the comic relief. But the problem was that they were, creating laughs at his expense by making us laugh at all his little, mishaps around the world. Like, for instance, mistaking wasabi in Japan for pistachio ice cream. I mean, yeah, it was kind of funny at first, but the main problem that I had with what they were doing was that later on in the movie, the moral of the story was that Mater was special and that we should all value him. And it made everybody feel guilty about laughing at him earlier. So basically they were encouraging us to laugh at him, and then later on just kind of pointing a finger at us and saying that that was a really bad idea and we shouldn't have been doing that. Now, I'm sorry, but that just kind of comes across as hypocritical. Maybe that's just me, but it just kind of comes across the wrong way. Now, side note right here. On one of my attempts at this level about 3 days ago, I accidentally didn't push that block there and then brought a block over here and totally got stuck. Yeah, bad idea. Do not do that. So now we're moving on to phase 2 of the level. Thankfully, this part is a lot easier because we don't have to dodge that bug. We don't have to do any fancy maneuvering. It's pretty much the easiest part of the level. The only danger that we're really facing is this collection of 2 bugs right here. But other than that, it's a pretty smooth ride at this point until we get to that block slide room with the ice. I'll give you a little preview of what that's like. You can see it right down there. And you can see that there are 3 keys that we're going to get. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. That's where I've had most of my deaths. And I've discovered that it seems the most probable reason for all the deaths occurring is that I've been so used to playing in Tile World that I tend to have this natural tendency just to press the keys before something comes around, like, a moving block or a space on which I need to boost, or things like that. So yeah, it's just one of those natural reflex things I've been trying to get over. I really need to, move exactly when something is there or exactly when I reach that space. Thankfully, the timing is a little bit better now that Windows is running at a speed that's okay, thanks to Arrow being off. And I'm just going to make the bugs go back in the way they were, because I feel a little bit better, even if that means... Actually, that might be a good thing right there. At least I know where they are. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing with pushing the blocks down. I don't know, maybe it might be, but I don't know. Let's just keep on going. Anyhow, we're coming up on 15 minutes here pretty soon. So I'm just going to keep letting this go, just so you can see how long this level takes. So yeah, Cars 2, not exactly a good movie. But if you're looking for a good animated movie to watch that's also a sequel, definitely check out Kung Fu Panda 2. I don't know if you guys have seen the original, but the sequel is insanely awesome. I mean, it was just so much fun to watch. Great characters, great acting, awesome score by Hans Zimmer and John Powell. I mean, fantastic performance by Gary Oldman as the villain. I mean, there's just so much, artistic direction that just turned out so well, and just so many great sets and locations and action, and oh man, fantastic stuff. Really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. And I'm just going to let them go back the way they were. So that will involve waiting here, and hilariously enough, last night when I tried to attempt this level, I accidentally ran into one after it passed by thinking that it was gone, even though it was still in that space. And once again, that was my trying to do things too quickly thing from Tile World. So I'm still trying to get over that, guys. I'm hoping it won't mess me up here tonight, but we'll just have to see. Now if we go in here, these are the 3 blocks that we'll need to use on that room there in the lower right with the one ship behind the water. So just an FYI, you're all gonna die. No, I'm just kidding. If anyone knows what that's a reference to, you are totally my hero. Let's see, let's go over here. So let's see, Kung Fu Panda 2, awesome. I also went to go see X-Men First Class. Oh man, great movie, guys. Oh, awesome comic book movie. I mean, fantastic script, great characters, you know, breathtaking action, great villain like Kevin Bacon. Yeah, Kevin Bacon. Like, I haven't really seen too many of his movies, but I mean, I've heard a lot about him since, you know, people make jokes about him and stuff, and he's kind of a bit of a legend. But I mean, he did such an awesome job playing the villain. I mean, he was great. I really enjoyed him a lot. I'm planning to go hopefully see Super 8 sometime soon, along with Captain America when it comes out. So I'm hoping those are good. I've heard a lot of good things about Super 8, so I'm hoping I won't be too disappointed. And like I said earlier, keeping that bug in the circle really helps a lot, especially when you're doing this part. And right now, it's time to face my destiny in the Room of Doom. So here we go, guys. And the one thing that really makes this hard is that there's a little bit of slide delay caused by that ball. Thankfully, it's not too bad, but it can be kind of a little bit irritating if it happens to occur right when you're pushing the block. Because then the block will wait for a little bit, and then you're going to get slide delay and then end up getting killed. So yeah, you definitely do not want that to happen. Now, granted, you can theoretically move a block over to the ballroom and contain the ball within the non-ice areas, but the problem with this is that eventually you will need that block, and it really only works for one block being pushed into the ice room. At least I think that's the case, because you will need the blue keys to get that other block to the left there in the upper room. So you got to remember to bring that second block back from the ballroom should you choose to go that route. So yeah, it's really complicated, and I almost died there. Thankfully that did not happen. Okay, so here we go. Please, JB, get this. I've been waiting so long to beat this level. So yeah, there's more slide delay right there. Ah. Oh, come on. There we go. Thank goodness. That part was always what gets me, just because it bounces like right there. So yeah, I always get so nervous at that part. Okay. Let me just go ahead and do this here. I'm going to wait for the bugs to get back. I do not want to chance this. Okay, good. So let me just go here. Now, the next hard part is going to be having to deal with that lower right-hand corner bug yet again. So I'm hoping that's not going to be too much of an issue. Let's just take this one step at a time, and hopefully we can defeat that bug and get out of here alive. One rather hilarious death I had was when I went into the block at the bottom, or when I pushed the block to this spot here from the left, I accidentally trapped the bugs in this little turnstile area right here, which pretty much meant instant death because I couldn't really go any further. And I didn't have the suction boots yet at that point, so I couldn't just override that force floor there. So let's go ahead and take care of the red key. Okay, wish me luck, guys. Here we go. Slide delay. There we go. Awesome. We have survived. And thankfully, there's not too much of a journey to get these blocks over there. That's the good news. So this won't be too bad, I'm hoping. Oh, I don't know why I was doing that. I can just go over here. Okay, let's just send them over here. There we go. So, I don't know whether I really need to trap him in a corner or anything, because I don't really know if that's really necessary or not, but I'm just going to see how it goes and just hope for the best. I'm just really cautiously taking this, because I've been playing this level for a long time now, and yeah, this is really dangerous territory here. Just the slightest mistake, and I'm dead. Thankfully, I know enough about that bug's pattern to survive. I'm just hesitantly saying everything here because I'm trying not to screw up. Okay, good. Thankfully, there's no fancy maneuvering required here for this one. And I got the last ship, and I can finally exit the stage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We survived. Almost. Okay, I'm just really okay, good. I was really nervous about going up there, but yes, we survived Sokobug. And in the next video, we will go on to Torn Down in Flames. Dun dun dun. So I will see you then.